You know what? Let's go ahead and just talk about the sad news that happened. I'd rather not leave it till the end of the podcast like we normally do because you guys remember what happened the last 2 times. So, as y'all know, we are aware Taylor Hawkins has passed the age of 50. Can't remember which day it happened, but
Friday, I think.
Yeah. So, my condolences to the families. We're not entirely sure what happened, so there's really no news on it. There's a lot of speculation, but we're not going to speculate today about it. But
what we do know is the dude is a monster in the industry. He's been around for a long time. Yep. And the first I ever heard him was with Alanis Morissette. He on her first and second album, and then I mentioned this on my stuff. And then I was watching a Filter DVD, and he's playing drums for Filter, and then and he's playing drums for one of the most iconic drummers of my lifetime, and Foo Fighters, and it's like, holy shit. So the dude just kept popping up in all these important places. So it's always to see him lock into something, be part of Foo Fighters is awesome. And then see him do, he was a great singer. He was did everything.
People forget he could sing. Like the Alanis Morissette project has so many monsters on it because he had Flea on bass too for that album.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that album is really good. That Alanis Morissette album. That's really good album.
There's a clip going around of him singing. They played Queen. Foo Fighters did. He comes out and sings Queen and just fucking kills it. It's like, dude, that's not an easy shit to cover.
Isn't it crazy that he got famous for drumming, but he could still sing that well?
Yeah,
you know.
And he was a perfect fit for Dave Grohl for that reason, because Dave Grohl is also so versatile, and that's what bums me out the most is thinking about Dave, because he's already gone through this once before, and him and Taylor were like so close, such good friends, and had such great chemistry. Yeah. So it was like
25 years, dude.
Yeah. I mean, and like Wade said,
obviously it was huge, but that was like a few years, and it still was devastating. This is it's an awesome band, and
well, I think
to see him go on forever, but.
Like Dave Grohl, he always was looking for something. The thing is, like Dave Grohl being in Nirvana, like the way that he elevated Nirvana, that was kind of like when Taylor Hawkins took over drums on Foo Fighters, because first Foo Fighters albums was just Dave Grohl recording everything, and you could hear the change when Taylor came on, and you could tell that he had a similar style to Dave, but Dave was spreading himself too thin, right? Because if you hear Dave on Nirvana, Nevermind, it's fucking, the drums are whoa. You know what I mean? Even though they're not
giving 100% to the drums.
Yeah, and then so when he got Taylor and he could focus on that, it's crazy. Like it's crazy that Dave found someone so close to him in drumming style, and granted better in my opinion, because he was focusing on that.
He'd be the first one to say it.
That's what's nuts about it, man. I still remember being in middle school and hearing Foo Fighters for the first time, and somebody telling me that it was Dave Grohl's band. I barely knew music at this time, right? But they were like, "This is the guy from Nirvana, the drummer from Nirvana." I was like, "Oh, so he's playing drums in a different band now, right?" And they were like, "No, he's doing guitar and vocals." I was like, "Wait, so they found a better drummer than one of the best drummers to be in this new band?" And they were like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Oh shit, that's fucking nuts!" How does that happen?
I mean, that first album, he did everything. He recorded everything. I mean, going back to Dave Grohl. Dave Grohl is one of my idols. I look up to him the most, and it's not because he's the greatest vocalist or whatever, or I know he's not the greatest of this or that, but the fact that he could just come from a band that was so big into another band and make it happen and be so iconic also and big, just as big as Nirvana. Yeah, exactly. And then Taylor Hawkins really solidified that when he came in and they were doing I can't remember the name of that album that Taylor first came on, and all those songs I just remember were on repeat in the 90s, late 90s and stuff. It was crazy. And the shows were amazing.
I also think the music itself is pretty timeless. It's got a nice sense of when I hear it now, I'm not like, this sounds really old. It was really well produced and originally, to the point where it still sounds pretty clean today, even 20, 25 years later or whatever. But also just the way that the songs were written, those are the type of jams that you could just sing along to forever.
Yeah. So,
and they're,
go ahead.
just to add to what you were saying about how he's so iconic, but he's also, you know, Dave and Taylor both sweethearts, like the nicest guys.
Yeah.
So funny and fun to watch. Like they did this interview together. I think it was Dave Grohl's house tour or something, and they both said that they were each other's favorite drummer. I think it was just so sweet. Yeah,
it's hard not to have like a tear in your eye while you're scrolling through Twitter and you see all these old pictures come up of the two of them, and you're like, damn, dude, like you see ones from like, you know, last year or whatever, and then you see ones from 20 years ago, and you're like, dude, they were like, it's the same shot. You know what I mean? Like the exact same shot 20 years later, and you're like, oh, they were so close. It's just heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I know. Stop talking about it. You're making me tear up.
No, seriously. I'm not even exaggerating, dude. You see those pictures and a literal tear will come to my eye. Like, it's I just can't imagine somebody that close to me that like, because it's not just a personal relationship. It's also a business relationship. It's like it's a brotherhood at that point, right? Like it's beyond just friends. Yeah. So it must be super hard to lose a part of your life like that. It's a whole part of your life, you know, like a part of your heart.
For sure, I can't.
Man, they just had that horror movie, then the metal album. I haven't even listened to yet, but a metal album to back it up, and it's all going very well. So it's fucking heartbreaking because it's like, man, what are they gonna do? I can't see him being like, well, let's find another drummer. I can't even see him wanting to do the drums for another album.
He's gonna take a break. I think he would probably take a break. I think he's gonna come back. Yeah. He's definitely gonna do another Foo Fighters song. They'll get another drummer.
Music is his blood, dude. I don't know. I just don't know. It sucks.
So the only way to take it.
We'll have a hiatus for sure, at least for a while.
Yeah, which understandable.
I heard this excerpt from Dave's book this morning where he was talking about like how Taylor was the drummer that he had been looking for his whole life.
Yeah,
like the chemistry that he found with him, which was just, you know, I mean, he wrote that book 2 years ago, so it's even more crushing that he said that before.
Yeah.
Gotta read that thing.
We gotta say though, like,
let's
not. They did have these like 20 years together, you know. So
yeah, dude,
let's at least celebrate the fact that like Dave did find his perfect drummer, and they did get to play together and make iconic music for years and years. And that again, just like we were talking about a couple of weeks ago with music legacy living on. I feel like we just need to keep the Foo Fighters legacy, keep the Taylor legacy alive. Just, you know,
well said, man.
Make sure that nobody forgets about it.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Taylor.
Be sure to subscribe to Gaijin, guys, and turn on notifications so you can be part of the live stream every Sunday. Find us wherever you listen to podcasts, and you can find more exclusive content on Patreon. So we'll see you there.